Just looking
5, 4, 3, 2, Wonder Bra. Hi, I'm Angela Griffith, and this is episode 34. And what were you doing with your bra before? I'm doing the countdown because we don't have any lead-in music yet.
We have nothing.
We have fucking nothing.
I was just looking at my boobs.
They look nice today.
Well, they're in a sports bra. I smell bad.
No, but you're looking really firm, which is really
thank
great.
God. I'd like to not have wobbly bits. But
Christ,
I was just. I zipped up my coat all the way, and then it sucked my boobs in, and so I was just readjusting them, and then
it was. I didn't know if that was because I said, you know what, we should have the discussion on air, and I didn't know if that meant. No, we're not having this discussion on air.
No, I also do. Don't you do this at work? When I stop and think, I'll rest my hands on my chest.
You know that I keep everything. My grandmother used to call it the Italian pocketbook. So I told you, when I left home, my grandmother made me this, I don't know, a little sleeve to put in my bra with a. This is so embarrassing. With a little safety pin. And she said, keep all your money there, because if you're ever out and you need some mad money, or if a gentleman caller, that's when dinosaurs were around, if he just stands you up someplace, or if you need to go home because he's being inappropriate, you'll have your own money. I would still to this day begging for somebody to be inappropriate.
I'd like somebody to take me out and be inappropriate with me. That sounds great.
Really cute that my grandmother thought that I was a virgin, but I was like, I would really like anybody out there would like to be inappropriate with me, please write me at takeit2 gmail.com. You're right. When I go to think, because I have change in there and money and my cell phone and a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Tissues, anything.
I told you my boobs are the SUVs of breasts.
I put things in there all the time to be like, oh, don't forget this. Oh, don't forget that. I put my keys in there sometimes, but I find when I really stop to think that my natural hand position is to go right here. I just put that right above my, and I don't know if it's because I'm thinking in myself, so it's me physically going, okay, Aaron, and moving my hands.
People thinking that you're giving yourself a titty twister.
I don't know, or do people think? Then I'm just sitting here
now that you do. That movement. Okay, let me see if I can describe to the listeners. You're just taking your fingers,
my fingers right over my nips,
of your nipples. Okay, that
I've never done that, but
I do that on the subway because you get lots of dates.
No, I've definitely grabbed myself, been okay, here you go. I don't know why.
You know what's really wonderful is I saw this. Somebody had sent me a link, and then I almost sent it to you. Maybe, did I send it to you? About the woman that had the bottle of vodka in her bra?
No, but I'd love to carry bottles of vodka.
Genius. It's on YouTube. Fuck, what is the search? I can't even remember it now. I didn't send it to you? Oh my God, it's genius. This woman comes on camera. She's probably a 50 double J. So she's
very similar. Yes, right.
Enormous knockers. And so she goes, I just want to show all of you how I keep things in my bra. From the South, probably. You got a lot of people in the South. Okay. I'm just saying, they're my people. So she and these are the things that I keep in my bra. So all of a sudden, she comes out in her keys, and it's not one car key,
right.
2 car keys, house key, apartment key, the dog house key. It's have you ever seen teenagers when they put every single key, or you're learning
a janitor?
Yes, when you're first learning how to drive, and so you're I'm gonna put every single key that I have on my keychain. So she's got 25 fucking keys on this. So it's like a janitor's. You're right. Yeah. She pulls that out, and I'm okay, there can't be any more. Then she pulls out her cell phone. She pulls out the charger. She pulls out the plug for the charger. Then she goes in. She goes, oh, and then when I go out, and if I still don't feel like I've turned up enough, she pulls out a huge flask, not a mini flask. And I love that she said turn up. So she takes out that, and then she goes, and then if I get worried that I don't have enough alcohol before I go out, or if I'm already out and I need a little bit more but I can't make it to the liquor store, she goes in deep. So I don't know if that's laying on her belly, her under boob. I don't know. It was some kind of magic trick. She pulls out a full-size bottle of Absolute. And I was God. Where do we find people like that, and why
don't any of my friends carry bottles of vodka in their boobs?
Listen.
I didn't know this was an option.
Out of all of us, if anybody's going to be able to smuggle an entire bottle of vodka in their breasts, it's going to be you or Jaybird.
Well, holy crap.
It was amazing. And I almost thought, why isn't this woman on the news?
This is news to me.
Last week you were telling me about that, not
the sheep.
The sheep with the sweater on it. Who cares? That pales in comparison to a woman who can smuggle an entire bottle of Absolute. That's That's a big bottle of booze.
I don't know how you would do that.
I don't know. It was amazing.
I'm like really trying to imagine this.
I don't know.
And
she goes, there it is. You want to see what I had in my bra? And there it is. I was like, whoop, there it is. I'd like to climb in there, honey.
That's quite the thing. Like, can you imagine if someone's like, oh, hey, I'd like to see what's in your bra? Meaning basically your boobs, right? And you were like, well, here's this bottle of vodka.
I think you'd be so fun at a party. But then what I didn't understand is that she had enormous, ginormous breasts. But she had the most low-cut top on. So, like, her naps, that's a horrible thing to say. Her nipplage did a little spillage. Like, and I was like, wow, you need to really tuck that up. But it could have been the full bottle of booze or the keychain, the janitor's keychain.
I don't know.
So, how do we get on that subject?
Because I was holding my boobs at the beginning of the show.
I woke up this morning like somebody shit in my breakfast. And you made me so happy. I have to thank you. I got to the studio, everyone should share their day with someone like this who goes and orders you a cheeseburger. Just because they know that you're not in your right mind and you need a little help this morning. So thank you for that.
Well, when you ask for a cheeseburger at 10:30, I know that she can have a cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger and a cup of coffee. Please, God. I didn't even really need the fries as much as I just needed the meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
you needed some meat. Mm-hmm. I got it.
Mm-hmm. And so we were having a conversation off air about talking about people. And we've still not learned our lessons, ladies and gentlemen, is that just because Double D and I want to share every aspect of ourselves and the crotch of our dirty underwear.
Wait, time out. It's not that we want to share it. It's that we think it's funny. So there's a difference. There's a difference. It's not like I sit at home going, here are the things. Yeah, like it's not like here are the list of things that I want people to know about me. It's like
I would ever hurt anyone's feelings with.
It's more of a like, here's something that happened to me that was super embarrassing, so I'm going to tell everybody because it doesn't really embarrass me. Right. I should be embarrassed, but I'm not. Right. And I think that sometimes we think that other people won't get embarrassed because we don't.
Well, I think that the mistake I make is that I think that I'm being complimentary. Like I'm thinking like, oh, they're going to want me to have this conversation about them. Even though I don't use their name, I use a nickname. I think it's a pretty good nickname or
not. I don't
or maybe not. As it been pointed out, that is obvious nickname. I'm sorry. So I'm ending up yet again apologizing where Aaron is not.
No, but here's what I think our issue. Here's one of our issues.
Mistake. It's like fuck.
No, it's
where's our producer?
It's that for
Why hasn't someone swooped in?
Therein lies the problem.
Why hasn't
Big
someone
feet
swooped in and said, wow, you guys are amazingly fucking talented, and you have to have your own show.
And P.S. Here are the things you're not allowed to say. But here,
I would still say them.
I'm assuming here too.
You can't do that. You can't like lower down the boom on me and say, "Here's the red flag." No, but the bull. Angela, don't. Run
no, there's a difference. There's a difference.
Way.
Yeah, there's a way to tell you to not do things. Most people don't realize that. Yeah, it's to make you feel bad.
Yeah,
but.
Yeah, because I feel bad about this situation.
I think that what it is that
Tell me what it is.
When I talk about you to other people randomly.
When I talk about Jews?
You.
You. I'm sorry, it is Hanukkah. So.
You.
Happy Hanukkah, by the way.
And when I talk about you to other people, I'll say stuff like, oh, she's just an asshole. She's, she's stupid. She does this. And to me, I'm saying...
It's so funny.
I
don't think you mean... Well,
no.
Sometimes
you are an asshole. No.
I am an asshole.
I had one of a coordinator that worked for us recently. She said to me...
She's a delight.
She is. She said, I love how you guys call each other assholes all the time. And
asshole and cunt.
And she was like, but you mean it like... you'll say to me, oh, I'm just being an asshole. I'm just being... And she's like...
It's like a term of endearment, don't you think?
But I think that that's the problem is that you and I... talk like that about each other. So when we talk about other people, I'll be like, oh, well, she's just a dirty cunt. She doesn't know what she's doing. And to me, I'll be like, oh, she's such a dirty cunt. She writes all this stuff, and it's so beautiful.
Think that you're a dirty cunt?
No.
Oh, well, maybe
to you, yes.
Yeah, maybe this morning you are after 3 hours of spin class, but...
Oh, do I smell like nasty Piao.
That's why I never go onto your side of the studio, because I
don't even want to be on my own side of the studio. Woof!
Because I never smell.
No, but I think that that's what it is that we say something horrible, but we mean it in such a nice way. And then when somebody will look at us like, wow, did you just call this person a whore? You're like, oh, yes, my mom's a whore. Your mom's a whore. Every mom's a whore.
My mother's dead. We call her old dead whore all the time. And God rest in peace, Rose. We love you. But you know that I call my sisters, like I'll say, those old whores, or if you come in and you like have great smelling perfume on, I'll say, Jesus Christ, you smell like an old whore. Yeah. Not as in like,
well, really like we grew up calling each other pig sluts.
Oh, well then.
Yeah, my mom would call us pig sluts. We call each other, like, it was never like, it really was never like, if my mother, or not my mother, if I were going to call my sister a slut, like a real, like really meant like, wow, you're being such a slut, I would have to come up.
Sluts.
No, but I mean, like, if I were going to use that term, I would have to come up with something completely different because to us, that's like, if I was like, oh, you know, Sam, stop being such a slut. And my sister would be like, you're a slut. What's wrong with you? Like,
that's not what, those would not be the words I use.
It's like dork. It's not.
And frankly, it wouldn't be the words that I use when I choose somebody else out. Like, I'll be watching one of those heinous Real Housewives or The Only Way is Essex, and they get in these fights, and I go, why don't you lower the fucking boom? And they're all like dancing around, and you think that they're saying mean things.
But then they'll go, you slut. And it's like, record screech. And I'm like, that really, truly, if that's the meanest thing that you're going to say to me,
let loose on someone, and it's like, really, you've heard me in the worst ways when I have lost my mind on people, and
those not the words that you use. Bitch, maybe, but bitch to me is also descriptive. It's not a like you're being a bitch.
I think you've heard me actually say, I'm going to take you to the fucking street, and that's not a threat.
But if I was gonna say something mean about someone, I wouldn't be like, oh, well, she's such a slut. Like, that to me, it's just not that big of a,
I know, it's
not a damning word.
My oldest daughter, Jaybird, is always telling me, she's like, you can't use that word because that's like shaming,
like slut shaming.
Sexual. And I'm like, no, but it's not meant that way. So she's finally loosened up because I said, you're kind of a slut too. Just get over it. It's just,
well, I think
I say horrible things to my children.
Oh, I know, I like it though. But I think my point is that I think that we, I guess, have to be cognizant of the fact that...
Oh my God, it sounds like an apology.
No, it's not.
It smells like Christmas spirit.
I'm not apologizing.
An apology. It's a Christmas miracle.
I'm recognizing that just because I wouldn't take offense to something doesn't mean that somebody else wouldn't. And while I won't apologize for being offensive, because if you're friends with me, then you just know.
There are some things that you could go, wow, maybe I overstepped my bounds.
Right, sure, why not? But
I just thought really that there was a Christmas miracle.
No.
It's like, get out your ice skates, hell is frozen over.
But I do think that we've tried really hard with our families.
Right. Well, there are shows that we have not posted. Because you'll notice, like we talked about last week or the week before.
They probably won't be up.
So
you
might want to see it. 1, 2, 5, episode 6, 7, 12.
Right. We try really hard to not put things out there about other people because it's not our place to put other people's business out there.
Well, it's not the intent of the show, and it's not how we roll. It's just not saying that there's not room for that kind of stuff. It's just it's the show's more about what idiots we are and our take on
being idiots. Our take on you being an idiot and me being an idiot.
What the name of the show is. It's like Take It to Two. It's the chatter that happens on channel 2 of the walkie when you think you're being private and you're not. And it's usually not really hateful, horrible stuff. No. It's embarrassing, stupid shit that you say to other people on Channel 2, so you don't get in trouble saying it on Channel 1.
Right.
You don't get chased off of Channel 1 by the angry first AD.
Big feet.
Big feet. Oh, my goodness. Can we talk about my boyfriend?
You're going to have to be more specific.
I know, there's so many of them. But you know that I love me some Jaiden Micheal.
Right.
From Desperate Housewives.
Who's so cute.
Who is he? Not the cutest thing ever?
Yes, and I like that he responds to our tweets. P.S. I do. I like it. It makes me like him.
I have the biggest crush on him.
Oh yeah.
I know that he's in a relationship with a man. And I guess that takes me out of the running as an old whore.
I just want to point out that you also do this to your breasts a lot. You cup them underneath and move them.
You know why? Because I'd like to feed.
Jaiden. You did kind of do this from my here is nipple. My zipple.
No, you know what it is? It's because I feel like we would be friends of his if we all lived in the same area. It's ridiculous.
Come on over, Jaiden Micheal.
Jaiden, whenever you want to come to New York, we'll show you a good old time. And P.S., our studio's in the Village, which is the hub of gaydom in New York. Just saying. Anyway, so yeah, I grab my breast when I think of him because did you see yesterday's exchange?
He has a movie or a script.
Well, he's working on a script. And then he's been, which is really, you know what, I love anybody who, and of course I don't know him personally, but he used to have this website, which was all about, he was like the better version of Perez Hilton.
When Perez was dirty.
When Perez was dirty. But he just would pull no punches. Right. And then he'd get totally dogged out by some people, and he'd be like, you want to take it to the street? It's going to be a street fight.
Right.
And you don't bring, a knife to a gunfight or whatever. Right. So he was brilliant at that. He took all of those down. He took all of his posts down. And he's really gone into acting, and he's got these stores now that I understand just from his Twitter feed. But he started working on this movie. And I thought it was a script that he already had in place, but he's actually working on it. And so last night he must have been up kind of late because England is 5 hours ahead of us. And so he made mention that he was working on the script and that it was really, I forgot, somebody hadn't been answering him about coming in for an audition or talking to him about the project. And you know what that's like. It's like, because we're in the industry, regardless how stupid or tenuous our grasp in the industry is, we totally understand that. It's like, you have this idea, you mull it about, you hope that your friends see the vision as being created. Like we were just trying to sell Big Feet, our producer, on that idea, that TV show. And you start talking about it and you're excited about it, and people go, oh, I don't see it.
Okay, lunatic.
Or whatever.
Right.
And then you kind of go on this solo hunt to make this project viable. And you kind of hope that people get as excited about it as you are. So he had put some tweet out there about how he was feeling. And I was like, listen, stay positive about it. Because I think so rarely in the moment of that pure creativity do you get somebody to go, you know what?
I'm behind
regardless if I know what the fuck you're writing about. It could be crayon scrawling on the wall for all I care. But this is a nice guy, I think. I had just a good vibe about him. Don't know why. It might sound stalkerish. So I reached out to him and I said, you know what? Good on you. Just keep on doing it. You write it. If the script is good and it's in place and the writing's good, people will come, just like that fucking baseball movie. You build it, they will come. So he wrote me back and he said it was a really amazing script. He was writing it, and it was dark and brooding and on a real life happening. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fucking, I love dark and brooding. That's my little fucking name. And then, was it this morning or late last night, he tweeted out that it sounded like he was writing it and that he had been crying over it. And I don't know now if it was about something that he's gone through, but I don't know where I was going with this. Oh, just that process is so fucking hard.
Yeah.
And thankless.
Well, I just like that he responds to
and everyone's going to be, and the fact of the matter is everyone's going to be kissing his ass when this comes out.
Yep.
And he makes a go of it, and they were like, oh shit, maybe we should have paid attention. Oh shit, maybe we should have been more polite to it. Oh shit, maybe we should have backed him up a little bit more.
I think that's what you and I have always been really good at. We're amazing. Here we go.
I'm amazing. Out of the two of us, because I will also lend an apology, which somebody else will
I won't
not.
do that, but I will absolutely, anytime somebody says to me, oh, I'm doing this thing, could you help? I'm like, sure, what the fuck? I don't, great. You want to make wine? Here's some grapes I found in the street. Here you go. Okay, I don't know.
It's just all about supporting each other. It's
you need an extra bin? Here's a bin from my house.
Okay. That makes those lovely cards.
Yeah.
It's like whatever in the name of creativity is like, and regardless of what medium it's in.
And regardless of whether or not I think, oh, this is the best wine that I've ever tasted, or this is the best book I've ever read. Whatever it is. Listen, you're doing something that I'm not doing, or maybe you're even doing something similar to what I'm doing, but it takes a lot of guts to just try. Just to try, and then to tell people is worse.
I'm from the screenwriting school of thought, of which is that scripts and ideas are like unborn babies. Like they're still inside you, and as you would not pull a baby out of your womb and go, let's discuss at 5 months because it's not completely done. I also am very protective over ideas and people's creative process and not showing stuff until it's done.
Right.
Because I think it's like when you go to have a child and you start telling people their name, everybody has their fucking opinion about what you're going to name their baby because of their own experience. And it's almost like if I have any advice to give to you, Jaiden, is like, be more protective of your stuff. Go through the process. Double D and I are here if you want to have a beer.
But I also feel like I agree with what you're saying, but I also feel like if you're going to do creative things, right? Then at some point you're going to be fucking slashed.
I know.
So you've got to put it out there, and
really
you get really nervous of like, well, it's not ready yet. It's not ready yet,
right,
and I agree.
Right.
But at some point,
right.
It's never gonna. You know, we have friends that do creative writing and do other things, and they'll say to me like, "Oh, it's not good yet," and I'm like, "Let's just be clear. You're never gonna think it's done and good." Let's be.
Well, that's your film background talking from all the feature films that you've done.
You're never gonna think that.
The screenplay is never really done because it's
gonna change the whole time.
It up until the shooting and during shooting.
And even when you watch a film at the end of it, like I was just talking to this about our little Irish friend. I was talking to her. We were talking about how she used to do some films and how I used to do some films. I said I had a really hard time watching them afterwards because there was no suspension of disbelief for me anymore because I had seen it. And not the story. Like the story didn't matter. It was that like I'd go in there and be like, they didn't get this cleared, and I fucking told them to get this cleared. And she was telling me, she'd be like, I told them that lamp was stupid, and look, it looks stupid. And that's all you see. So my point is when you do creative stuff, you're never gonna go and be like, best thing ever, everybody mic drop, especially I'm gonna walk out,
because film is so collaborative. But
even any kind of writing, you're gonna put it out there at some point and be like, I've done all I can.
Fair enough.
But I don't think that you ever go, best draft ever, boom, mic drop, walk out, I'm done.
I feel very protective of him. I just do. Like I said, I don't know why.
No, I'm not saying this in a mean way. I'm saying this as like, I think it's good he's putting it out there.
No. I think
people are going to say bad things and are going to say to your face, oh yeah, sure, I'll help you, and then never pick up the phone when you call. It's just going to be what happens.
I guess my point is like, I totally agree with everything you said, because film specifically is collaborative. And like the screenplay is the bones.
Right.
Unless you're going to direct it and you're a complete auteur from start to finish, we just don't see those guys anymore. Where it's like, it's my vision.
God.
I got them.
Thank God. Because if you've ever worked with any of them, that's like the worst thing
pricks.
possible. Because they'll be like, oh, that's not my vision, and you're like, well, your vision sucks.
I'd like to kick you. So if you use the term "my vision" one more time.
If you tell me,
right in the balls.
If you tell me one more time, I am. What did they tell me? I am stifling their creativity. That's the worst fucking line anybody's ever said to me. I will knock you out.
I know.
You don't get to be creative on this.
I'm like, no. Just because I'm not directing this doesn't mean I don't understand.
Or, whatever it is. Your creativity, shove it.
I feel like sometimes he bears his soul. Twitter's such a fucking, sometimes bad playground to be on.
Yeah.
And so, like, I take, when he puts out those tweets, I'm compassionate towards him, because I'm like, as someone who writes, as someone who's in film, as somebody who
trying to be creative, right?
Being creative, I get very like protective of him, and it's like he seems very raw, and like some of those fuckers come up, and I'm just like, listen, you live in your parents' basement, you have no track record. This is a guy that was like doing it on a blog, making a living, going to parties when people wanted to kick his ass. Got stores going, did some fashion stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like, I get very protective. It's just I get protective.
It's the same way of when we talk about the show to other people. We've only reached out to people that we feel will be supportive of it right now. And I think that, to me, I feel like anybody that Jaiden Micheal has reached out to, if you have been anything less than supportive, go fuck yourself. You're a horrible human being.
I guess we have your back.
Yeah. How about that, Jaiden Micheal? We think that your script is fabulous, even if we've not read it.
If you want to send it to us, and we'll read it. Our critique. You always have willing people.
In case you want our opinion, because it's very
wait a second. Why wouldn't you want our opinion?
I know. That's what I'm saying.
I cupped my left breast and said that I would nurse him.
I don't know. I think good for him. Good for him. And thanks for responding to our tweets. Yeah, I just like it. It makes me happy every time I see it.
He's the fucking cutest thing ever, and he's like totally working it out. And I'm like, who wouldn't want to be his boyfriend? I just love it.
No, I agree. I like him too.
Is it weird?
No. Really? You're gonna ask me if something's weird? Okay, let me be the barometer of that.
I just get on kicks of like, there are people that I just like adore immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
No, I liked him immediately too. I did. You told me watch this show. I watched it and was like, okay, best friends.
And out of all of those
friends
people,
for life.
Out of all those stupid whores, I liked him the best. And I was like, why couldn't they just do a show just with him?
I'd watch it.
I'd watch it too. And then if he had his blog again and started drawing dicks on people, I'd be thrilled.
Listen, everybody needs to be taken down a notch or two.
He's bitching about half the time, and I like it.
I know, it makes me laugh. I'm like, oh yeah, she is a bitch. Okay. Sounds great.
X Factor. I don't know.
Sure. Whatever you say. I don't know.
I like that he likes his mother. That's all I can say.
Listen, I like that he says mean things and didn't apologize.
Right.
That was his whole shtick.
He's not apologizing. So he's. Oh, I know how. I was going to say, how the fuck did we get on Jaiden Micheal? It's because we were just talking about other people, and it's a choice that you make. This show has primarily been about we two retards.
Right.
Nobody really else. Yeah, we say some shitty things.
That sounds terrible. Yeah, we say shitty things, but what
a great thing for
get over it.
Sometimes we say shitty things. Take it to 2.
And you like it.
Yeah, we do need to get that t-shirt line up and going.
I know.
Just so you know. Old Vagina Likes Mandolin.
I know. Well, you know what?
So where do we land on this? We're sorry. We're not going to talk about anybody anymore.
I'm not sorry, but I won't talk about you because it's not my place.
Right.
For people that I love.
Or people that we don't love. I guess
I'll still talk about people that I don't love. That's fine.
I guess we wouldn't have a show if we didn't talk about people we don't love.
No, but I think if you stop and look at what we try and represent is we're laughing at ourselves. Right. The whole point is that, like, you can be an asshole like the two of us and be just fine.
Speaking of two assholes who are not fine, what two assholes do you think I want to nominate for Cum Dumpster of the Week?
I have no idea.
1 and 2.
I have no idea.
Cum Dumpster.
You can say it over and over again. I still don't know.
There are 2 people in the news right now that I would like to kick. Who would that be?
People in the news?
2 boys in the film industry.
Are you going to talk?
JF.
I was going to say, are you talking about James Franco? God, why?
I don't know. I'm so pissed off about that whole Sony hacking thing and their movie, The Interview. Oh, God.
Why?
Bit my tongue.
Why?
And Seth Rogen, who I like. But I think I might want to punch him, too, just because he was in a movie with James Franco.
They're like best friends, though. I kind of like... Yeah, they are. Like, in real life, have been friends for a long time.
Does he know that his best friend's a tool?
Yeah, of course he does. That's why they're friends. That's why I'm friends with you. You're a tool.
Yeah, but you're not, like, I feel like Seth Rogen has to be high to be friends with him.
Yeah, but he is high most of the time. Here, listen, James Franco is bizarre, but you know what?
I don't think he's bizarre.
I think he is.
I think he's like Lady Gaga. I think he's calculated. I think that he goes, okay, what's the most fucked up thing I can do that will disturb people, and I'll act like I'm interesting.
No, I don't think he's trying to be interesting. I think he's going...
No, I think you're weirder than he is.
No, I think he's going like this. I think he's going, all right, I'm a talented actor. Because I do think that he at one point was a talented actor, right? Here I am, talented actor.
Ball liquor.
I have a lot of friends who have made a shit ton of money at this point, and we're all in a really fucked up industry. I'm going to make something really stupid and see how many assholes I can get on board. That's what I think it is.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, I think it's kind of more of a like, I'm gonna play with my best friend. We're gonna do dumb shit, and I'm gonna see how many assholes actually come out and pay for this. And P.S. I'm gonna see who in their right mind is gonna back me up.
Because you just basically described us.
Yeah,
and that because we're not.
I'm jealous. Well, I think it's great. First off, the movie.
Disrespectful.
No, no, I don't think it's disrespectful. I think there are definitely people out there that are disrespectful to people that are really trying to create something. But I also think that...
You mean like Sony execs?
Well, some of them can shove it too. But I think there's something to be said for the fact that, like, you're giving him money because of who he is. That's retarded, and you deserve to be kicked in the cunt. Sorry. Like, everybody needs to... There's so much crap that we're inundated with all the time, right?
Right.
And there are so many movies that should never have been made.
Right.
That have gotten made.
Right. Wait, that's your argument?
Yeah. So you know what? Have a good time. No, their movie looks so stupid. Okay, I have no desire to see it, but I won't. So there you go.
Yes, you will. You watch it late at night after smoking a bowl.
Nope, I won't. I've never seen Pineapple Express. I've never seen any of that stuff. It doesn't appeal to me, so I'm not going to watch it. Somebody else might really like it. Good for you. Go watch it.
Okay.
Have a good time.
Did you hear this morning that now they're not going to continue their press junket, and they've actually pulled the premiere now from New York because they're worried that these guys, what are the peacekeepers or
I don't know, because some kind of terrorist something, right?
Which is, I would like to make. I'll stand here today, all right, and say that it is no terrorist group that is doing this. I will go out on a limb and say it is a person from Sony, inside Sony, who's just a fucker that lives in their parents' basement.
That has released the funniest things. To me, they've been the funniest things.
Well, who was it? Was it Seth Rogen that said that this is as insulting as when they released those nude photos of those women?
Oh, I was going to say that was... no, there was a tweet that somebody wrote that, all of these male actors are getting really pissed off about this leak, and half of them never said anything about all these females that were getting leaked nude.
One thing is your own sexual escapades being thrown out for everybody perusal, and the other is a private email that you said racist shit about the president of the United States.
How about you don't say racist shit? How about that? Or own it. Fucking own it. Be racist. Okay.
Or come on the show and say it.
Yeah.
It's it's funny because my husband and I were talking about it, and he's like, well, did they really say anything that bad that people just don't say to each other, but that it's published? And I'm like, it's the only thing that got me is the tone of those emails. For people who've worked in the industry, how many of those fucking emails you've gotten where you've been blasted out of the water? When he was saying, this is a done issue. Was it Scott Rudin?
I don't know.
That said, this is a done issue. I'm not gonna discuss this any further. Take care, handle it. And I love all the directors they were talking about, or this David Fincher they're talking about. We all know, allegedly, because our attorney makes us say that. Allegedly, he's a big asshole. Anyway, who gives a shit about Cleopatra?
Half the people in there are assholes. I mean, who cares? Who cares? Exactly. Are we really shedding a light on something we didn't know? Yeah, they have to be to get to where they're, on some degree. I'm not defending them because some of them are just assholes because they're assholes and have been handed too much to them.
It's a power thing for the crazy. We talked about this on this show. Our business collects all the crazies, and then they get approval, and they get comforted and patted on the back for the nuttier they are.
Right. So of course they're going to do it.
Nobody tells them the truth about that shit. You're insane. Stop fucking fucking acting like an asshole.
Right. And you know what? Quite frankly, who couldn't use a swift kick in the nuts to be like, well, you know what? Sometimes I'm going to need to take a step back. Maybe I have been a hard person to.
Will you tell me when I need a kick in the nuts?
Sure.
When I get amazingly big, you'll go.
It's the matter of when they say, oh, somebody's hard to work with or blah 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 blah. I think there is a point, and all of us get to a point where we do or say something because we feel like, oh, I guess what I've earned this, whatever it is, even if it's something minimal.
Sounds like an apology again.
No, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about you. Where at some point you need to stop and go, you know what? I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. I'll take a step back. I'm being overbearing, or I am being ridiculous, or I did, and it's like, oh crap. Oh shit. Sorry, my bad.
It took them back and forth on those emails, and not one of those retards said, I guess I should stop saying retard. One of those idiots didn't say, would you just call me? Let's just put this to bed. Can
I tell you though that I loved seeing all the ones that Channing Tatum wrote to them? They're so funny. Where he's like, let's do this. We can make this huge.
I know.
To me, it's like,
and then
that made me like him a little more.
Yes, it did. Sleep with him.
It just made me want to hug him. It's really
come on over to my house.
You're trying to have fun. You're trying to have fun and make stuff and have a good time, and that's what it should be about.
George Clooney's email, which was did you see his email? Which is that he wrote to that Amy Pascal. I forgot about what stupid movie about how it wasn't going to do well, or he was worried about it, and he appreciated her because she's one of the only people who understood film. By the end of his email, I was like, oh God, if I didn't want to kick you before, I would like to keep.
What about
now.
Jaiden Micheal, who was like, you guys told me that I could get a discount on a Sony TV? That's like genius, because let me tell you how many actors I worked with that would say to me afterwards, would be like, can I have this? Can I do? And I'm like,
all of them.
You get everything for free, but you know what? You're the only one that's asked me, so yes, you can. Here you go.
I have a story for you. Let's see. This will be one of those weird blind items, because I think if I say your name, it'll be bad. Academy Award winner.
I don't like your line items because you look at me like I should know who you're talking about, and I don't ever know.
Academy Award winner. Little. In stature. Small. Was in a movie where...
Whoa! An Academy Award winner in a movie!
Listen, I just... Don't make me call you cunt. Now, when I really seriously mean... Okay, she was in a movie where the other lead just had a baby recently.
Nope. Keep going.
Who had to learn to do something, but they got a stunt double to do the real happening. Weird... allegedly crazy director.
Can I just tell you that this is like you saying to me, you know the person with the face? And like, everybody has a face. No, I got who you just said it was, but okay.
So, on a job with me, I was like one of the first, I guess, this might have been about 6 or 7 years ago, before you got to New York, did this job where she was on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she was in college. No, it must have been longer than that. Total little cunt. And we had to leave all the clothes from our shoot for the still shoot. How often do you do that?
Right.
All the time. When we got back into what is now Highland Studios, over there, Highland Stages, we let ourselves in, and almost all of the clothes were gone. She took everything. Almost every fucking bit.
They all do, though.
But didn't even ask. Like, her wardrobe stylist didn't go, wow, this is probably $20,000 worth of clothing.
Yeah.
Maybe. And some of the stuff we borrowed. Like, there's a very high-end stylist that we worked with that was on my side, not on their side. And it was the still stylist that didn't alert anyone. And he had given his name saying, because you can go to all these big houses and say, this is a shoot with blah, 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 blah. Can we borrow this?
Right.
Wiped everything out. And guess what? Production ended up paying for it all.
No. Well, that's like when you hear all those things like Lindsay Lohan took $10,000 worth of whatever with her, and it's like, allegedly. Everybody acts so surprised, like this, that she did, like, what a train wreck, she did this, and it's like, I'm sorry. Do you know how often the stuff on these go away?
You know how she got in trouble with, like, walking out of that store with jewelry? It is such a commonplace thing. I can see how she'd walk out thinking that she had it. Like, because people are gifted those things. They do it all the time. Well, directors will say, "Why don't you just take that? Looks so great on you."
Right, and you're like, "Oh well, I'm sorry, it's rented." Yeah,
or it's one of a kind, and
or it's not yours to give. Right. It was the stylist's own personal ring that she brought in. You don't get to give it. That happens all the time. It's not just the actors though. It's producers, it's agency people will just be like, "I'm just gonna take this, just put it in your petty cash," and it's like, here's the thing. I have to account for that at the end. I can't just write shoes $900 and you took them.
Right.
I can't write that. That's not a viable option at the end
anymore, where you just get to do a bunch of coke
boob
and
job written off.
Like, I told you about my job that I had. We bought a producer set of boobs.
Yeah,
in South America.
You can't do stuff like that. It just drives me nuts.
Well, you can, but that's just not what I do.
You can't. No, you can't. But I do get sensitive. Lindsay Lohan, I'm on your side on this one. When they made such a big deal about
move back to the United States.
Good for her. Well, when they made such a big deal about her taking clothes, I just thought, I don't understand why she wouldn't think that, because this happens all the time. And all that happened was a bunch of shit stirrers decided we're going to make a big deal out of it. And instead of going to her people and being like, listen, you can't just take shit, which is valid. And they had every right to say that to her. Instead, they decided to plaster it on the news.
Right. And I've had
and shame on everybody for listening to that.
Really lovely. Remember the woman that we worked with on L'Oreal? She was lovely. When she wanted stuff, she sent her assistant, said, blah, 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 would like such and such and such. She'd like to buy it.
Right.
And then it was up to the agency and the client if they said, you know what, let her have it.
Right.
You know,
well, some really of it, gracious. Of course, why not?
We almost electrocuted her, but allegedly. And she was really great about it. Why not give her that lovely jacket?
It's just funny when people act as if, like, they just act like they could just take it. And it's like, well... Yes, it's really truly annoying because they should have asked, but at the same time, there are so many people just squawking to them saying, "Oh, you can take it. I'm sure you can take it." I've heard many people say to them before, "Oh, you can just take it." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, you can't take that car. It's not ours. We don't own it. You can't do that." I'd love to gift you this Mercedes, but we don't actually own it. It's been brought to us, driven here with a little guard, and he's going to take it back. This is what's going to happen. Right. You don't get to just give it away because then they'll go, "Well, just see what you can do." And it's like,
what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I'm not paying for
job over that.
Yeah, I'm not paying for it.
Crazy.
No, you can't have that. So I'm on your side, Lindsay Lohan. How about that? Turn of events.
What a weird show.
What a weird show. I have something I want to talk about that has nothing to do with this, but it's about movies.
Wait, is it about crotch?
No.
Okay.
It's about movies. I watched the other night on TV, God help me, White Chicks. Oh. And here's the thing.
With the Wayans brothers, right?
Yeah, the younger ones. I don't know. Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit,
attracted to both of them.
Oh, they're both beautiful.
I know.
Holy crap! But
black men.
Yeah, black men.
Dressed as
come
a white
my
woman.
way.
Dressed as a white woman. So
here's
you're
the
lesbian.
thing. I don't like stupid it takes a lot for me to like a stupid comedy.
I'm
not a big
like Joe Dirt.
Nope.
Or Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck. How can you not be a fan of Uncle Buck?
But
Candy, Dumb and Dumber, something about Mary, like those kind of films.
I love Something About Mary. Shut up.
Listen, I will say that there are good parts to them, and I understand why people like them. It's just not
what's the one that I really liked?
Superbad.
You didn't like Superbad?
No, how long did it take for me to finally even see it? Once I saw it,
was eating ice cream sundae and drinking Jack Daniels. It was the most perfect night ever. With the night that I saw Superbad.
Right. Well, and you kept telling me for months, you're like, you have to watch this, you have to watch this. It took me a long time to watch it. The first time I watched it, I was like, I don't know. I watched it again, and the more I watched it, the funnier I think it. I think the movie's fucking hilarious. Right. And there are parts in all of those movies that are so fucking funny. It doesn't matter if the rest of the movie is stupid, because that's just so funny. Right. I understand that that's a genre. I don't have to like it. It's fine. Some people don't like horror films.
Not my genre.
Fine. Right. But I thought, okay, I'm going to watch this because a friend of ours likes those kind of movies, which I can't figure out why she likes them, but she does. So, and she's quoted it to me a couple times, and I'll say, you know that movie? And I'm like, I don't know that movie. And then,
I hate those movies.
Right. I don't like them. It's funny that you're quoting it, and what you quoted, fucking funny. But anyway, so I started to watch it, and I'm sitting there going, this might be the worst turd of a movie I have ever seen in my entire life.
Use the term turd.
And I'm trying to go, okay, can I just appreciate it for what it is? Is it funny that they're making fun of people? Yes, I love that. Okay, so I'm going to go with that. They're making fun of, like, rich white girls that act retarded. Sorry, that act stupid. Fine, I can get behind it.
Might be the word of the day.
However, I have to say that I'm a little not offended, because I mean, when do I get offended? But I am indignant. I don't know. I was thinking about the fact that, like, now while I would want to see this movie and be in it, if you and I dressed up as two black women and made a movie about it and acted like two black women, like our stereotypes. Because what those two did was acted a stereotype of these rich white girls. Mm-hmm. If we did that, how much fucking trouble we would get in. For picking on a minority.
Well, not even black women. How about black men? Because it was like they chose opposite
Okay,
sex.
so let's say black men. Whatever it is. But how we would get in trouble for blackface, and they're not going to get in trouble for putting on essentially what's whiteface, right? I mean, I found that to be so upset. Like, the whole thing made me so upset. And with all of the race stuff that's going on in the news right now, I thought, you know what? I am so sick and tired of everybody playing, everybody, hands down, everybody playing the race card of like, oh, you can't say that because you're right. Oh, you can't say that because I'm black. Or you can't say this because what? I'm like, wait a second. I understand that there are years and years of things that have built up to why people say you can't say this or you can't do that. You know, like I get it. There was a time when you were definitely held down by the man. Gotcha. I feel for you and I agree. Take back your right as a human being is what got it. Right behind you.
Right.
But if you're going to freak out at me because I wore blackface to dress up as Halloween as a character, right? Juliana Hough, which was stupid, right? Stupid. Yes. That was just stupid.
Which played Crazy Eyes, right?
That was just stupid because how did you not...
She was a character from Orange is the New Black.
How did you not know you were going to get there was going to be negative backlash?
Right.
Okay? Fine. However, we have just given millions of dollars, just 10 years ago, whenever the movie was made, to these two men who turned around and did the same fucking thing because they essentially dressed up as what? Paris Hilton? Right? I mean, this is who you're making fun of, especially at the time when the movie was made.
Right.
And you acted like what you thought a white girl acted like, somebody with money acted like, because even their characters had no money in the show. Like, their black characters had no money, and they were infiltrating this world that they would never be a part of.
Right.
And, like, and
I
the
don't know
only...
if you like my answer or not.
Well, I don't know that there's an answer that can be given other than I just found it to be... I guess hypocritical. I thought, you know what? I don't mind that they did it. I think it's fun. Like, to me,
but
yeah, okay, that's something funny. But if I had turned it around, I feel like I would have gotten spanked for it and not spanked in the sexy time way.
No. I think you absolutely would have. I think why it was passable, why people didn't squawk about it, is that I think that it was done about women.
Oh, interesting.
As a feminist, and I don't have a problem with the word, I look at that and I think it has more to do with it being about white women than it had to do with them pretending to be white guys.
Yeah. Well, so do you think that if we pretended to be black women, that there wouldn't be as big of a backlash as if we pretend to be black men?
I think if it, yeah, I think, well, it's tough because it doesn't go both ways. People have problems with the blackface or whites assimilating other cultures.
Right.
You know, they have a problem with Katy Perry doing it. They have a problem with Gwen Stefani and the Harajuku girls. They have, you know, Mickey Rourke where he played that I forgot what the famous Asian character. You know, like they've had a history of this, of people being assimilating other nationalities, other ethnicities for entertainment purposes. It's a tough one. In a perfect world, people would be able to do it back and forth and it wouldn't be any issue.
Right.
Because we have such a scar in our history, which is the oppression of African Americans, I think that's...
I do think that's why, but I'm calling bullshit on this.
Right. No,
because at this point, I feel like, you know what, at this point, guess what? I'm offended. I'm offended because I'm tired of being told that everything... I'm not allowed to say, or I'm not... And I don't think that I make references off the cuff all the time. No, I'm sure I do every now and then because I don't know. Well, like, did you know that until I moved to New York, this is a weird one to even not realize, but I didn't realize when you said, "Oh, I just got gypped." I didn't realize where that came from.
Yeah.
And to me, that was just like, I didn't realize that it was being derogatory to something else. So I'm not saying that I don't make comments like that. But my point is, I'm not even saying that you should say that. That's not my point in that situation. I'm just saying that we all make off the cuff comments
because very PC things that are going on right now, and everybody's so super sensitive. I guess my argument is that.
But it's not really an argument. You're just saying why it's passable. This isn't an argument to being able to be used.
I'm saying that, like, in that case, I think it has more to do with pretending to be women than it did with being white women. Right.
Well, then here's my thing. Then I'm offended as a woman, not as a white woman. Then I'm offended as a woman that you're going to dress up and act like a dumb putz because you think that's what a girl acts.
Then with Tyler Perry dressing up as a woman.
No, I'm not.
And a certain stereotype of black woman also.
Well, I think it's amazing that he gets away with some of that too.
I don't know if he gets away with it. I think that because he's so popular, I think he gets away with it. But
no, I love Medea. She makes me laugh so hard because I want to be her.
I just saw the Christmas.
Oh, I rented the Christmas movie. Too. I saw it too. I love.
My girls and I were the only white people in.
No,
when we go to the movie
I watch all his movies. I think they're hilarious. The ones that are funny and the ones that are really intense. I like them too. I do. I think he's a genius. Right.
But it's I don't know if I don't have an argument for it. I don't have an answer for it, except that that's how I got in trouble with that woman who is an actress. You know, that she called me out on Facebook because she thought I was being racist when there was this article that we had talked about where there was this article on Huffington Post written by this black woman who right at the time of Ferguson was saying, my son is 7 or 8 years old right now. And he's running around it was titled Dear White Mothers.
Right.
And I was incredibly moved by it because I thought, shit, she's facing something that I will have no idea about. The only way that I can compare it is if being a woman and I feel that I'm under threat when you go, you walk around New York City.
Right.
Or you're by yourself and there's a group of men or somebody crosses the street to be on the same, there are things that cross your mind. And that's the only thing I can compare it to. But she was talking about how little her son was now, but one day he's going to be a teenager. He's going to be a teenager in a hoodie. He's going to come up against the police. And she's like, will you just consider these things, Dear White Mothers, the stuff and you know what, frankly, I live in Queens, which is like this multicultural hodgepodge of people from around the world. And so when you go into my girls' classrooms, there's somebody from everywhere. So I don't ever think of, or I don't take the time to think of that they're being treated differently than my children. Right. So it stopped me dead in my tracks, and I reposted it. And that my family looks like a United Benetton ad, right? Mm-hmm. And so I reposted it, and I said, I really feel like this should be Dear Light-Skinned Hispanics, Dear Asian Moms, Dear,
Right.
And this woman came out swinging and saying that I had specifically said it towards her. She's like, how do you not know? How do you know that I don't already think this? So, it was just, it was a horrible, horrible misunderstanding.
Right. And in that case, I say, hey, lady, you're not Angela. Shit. Everything's not about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Settle down.
So I was like, I was about to apologize because I would never really want to hurt her feelings. And I said, I'm just not going to apologize now. I took an Aaron Gillette. I was like, I'm not going to apologize now because, I really get that you don't understand where I'm coming from.
Right.
And then she started saying shit about my family, and then maybe I should take it up with them because she knows that I have this multicultural. But then, on her Twitter, she was saying all sorts about my girlfriend and I being white and blonde haired. I was like, how is that not? But she comes out with these stances of Asians are not represented so much in TV. How can you cast in theater? How can you cast a white person at, like an Anglo-Saxon person in a historically Asian part? So there's a bunch of this stuff coming out now. So my take, I'm confused. In one way I go, shit, it should be somebody Asian playing an Asian. But then I think, wait a second, isn't that the whole idea behind theater?
Right.
At a time, like in Shakespeare, were there men playing women? Because that's where the talent pool was. And not saying that there's not a talent pool in this, whatever, but if you're in Whitelandia, USA, and you're putting on, the Mikado, then do you bring everybody in who's Asian?
Right. And say that you putting maybe somebody who is not as good as somebody else in a part just because they're Asian, that's not fair either.
And I'm just saying, I see that, there has been absolute racism.
Oh, sure.
The blackface, with all that ridiculous.
Absolutely.
But it's always been I'm going to be a white guy playing a Chinese guy, and then I'm going to use the weird accent.
Right.
Should Linda Hunt have not played in The Year of Living Dangerously played a man?
Right.
Because she's got a vagina? No, she was phenomenal. And you didn't even know she wasn't a dude until award season.
Right.
You had to really go, where the fuck did she come from? Have you ever seen that movie with she and Mel Gibson? You can't even believe how good she's in that part. She plays this man. And so, I'm a little, this atmosphere is, everything is so PC now. Smarter minds than me have an answer about this.
Right. Well, I know
I don't... part. And frankly, now that you bring that up about what is it, white chicks?
White chicks.
Yeah.
I mean, I
laughed at the movie.
I have to tell you, I'm not offended that they dress like white. I mean, who cares?
Where does it...
But to me, I thought, I think this is a really double, I do think this is racist, because I do think that if I had done the exact same thing and flipped it so that I was playing, even as a girl playing a black girl or a Hispanic woman or whatever it is that I would come out and play, I would get so much fucking backlash because it'd be like, oh, right, so you think all black girls talk like this? You think all black girls do this? You think that we all have hair like... I'm sorry. You made them the whitest of white people.
But I think the flip side of that would be whites historically. I think it has to do with power and the distribution of power. Yeah. And I'm not defending there as much as that. I think that. And
again, I'm not saying that I don't think that it shouldn't have been made, because it's a fun. I mean, it's a funny movie. Like it's just
it's a very interesting. Like, I would love people to write us, tweet us, talk about this, open this dialogue, because I think it's a really interesting thing. In my gut, it's about power. Right. It's about who has power, who doesn't. And we can say, oh, but we have a black president now, whatever.
Oh, yeah, well, that means nothing. Sorry.
Don't lie. Right. You know, when you have people writing emails together and kind of making racist shit up about saying statements about whatever, and not being able and feeling uncomfortable even to have the dialogue about racism and where it starts, or unfriending somebody off of Facebook because you think that they're being racist, instead of going, listen, here's a learning opportunity. Right. This is my take on it. You know, it's really it's compelling stuff that you bring up.
I think what you brought up about it being about women is really interesting to me, because I do think that there are a lot of times where if I stop and really think about it, I think, wow, I feel offended as a woman versus being white or whatever. Like, I happen to be a white woman, so I know that there's a lot that's afforded to me that I wouldn't.
The better thing is that you're a white woman from a quote-unquote wealthy area.
Right.
I'm not saying that you grew up that way, but you... No,
God, I wish I had.
No, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, but was that indicative of girls that you hung around with? No, you went to a fucking great school.
Well, some of them, but that's like, I mean...
But can we start looking at these things in a moment in time of just what the story is? Nothing more, nothing less. Right. Without us going, fuck, I feel hurt. I feel this. I feel...
Well, I think that
everybody's got a fucking opinion now.
Well, yeah. Who are these people that think they can have an opinion?
2014. When did we all start getting fucking opinions?
I find it to be really interesting that there are so many things that you see that are being brought to our attention about race. And a lot of it right now, in this moment in time, has to do with blacks because of Cosby, because of Ferguson, because of all of all of these things that are going on. And I'm not saying that it's not something we should be looking at.
Stop and search here in New York.
Absolutely. Right. But at the same time, like, I don't know, did you hear that Cosby made some comment about he knew that the black media would be neutral? And I thought, you know what? Shame on you. I know. Shame on you, because
for not saying anything. When he could have come out in the beginning and denied it or whatever.
Well, even none of that. You still didn't come out and defend yourself. What you did is turn around and say, there's a bunch of white people after me. That's what you did. Right. And I'm not okay with that.
At a time where the country right now, it's like New York is up in arms. Shit has gone down in Missouri. Shit's gone down all over. People are struggling, I think, really to come together. I admit, and I don't want him, I don't want him guilty. Right. I don't want him guilty.
And I admit that there's a lot of things that I won't understand about being a black person in America. Right. I how could I? Right? But there's a lot of things that they are not going to understand about being a white woman either, right? So we can go back and forth.
A woman. So even if you take color out of it, the only way that I can compare it is being the only woman with a bunch of men.
But shame on him for turning it around and saying, I expect that the black media will be neutral on this. And I thought, oh my God, you're such a douche. That just right there, you made me not have no sensitivity towards you, because you basically just said that...
And then he let his daughter come out and make a statement on his behalf, instead of him, before all of these colleges, started dumping him left, and center, he should have come out, as a man, he should have come out and said, listen, I would hope, if anything else, that I'm innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
I deny all these charges. I think that it's easier to jump on the bandwagon, now, who's the woman from that show that Vanna White has come out and said something now. It's like, I don't know. I don't even know if we'll ever have an answer to it.
I'm mad at him for the comment about black media. That makes me angry. But I do think it's interesting, like, I did think that whole Sony, like, going back to the Sony leak, I did think it was interesting that someone said people are up in arms about this because some men's emails were leaked, or emails about them saying that they were tough to work with, or a baby, or whatever it was. They're making such a big fucking deal. It's a huge deal in the media, and all of those hacked photos of girls who are naked, which, by the way, you know what, would I have naked photos on my phone? No.
I don't think anybody would want any naked photos of me.
No, I
mean,
wouldn't.
I'm lovely, but
here's the thing. but you should be allowed to take naked photos. If I want to take pictures of my crotch and give them to you for Christmas, nobody should be in my business about it.
I don't get it. I think it's a generational thing. But, you used to make dirty phone calls to each other. Right. Would I want one of those released? No. And it took my 16-year-old daughter to set me straight, which was like, I was like, well, you know what? You take a naked picture of yourself, you deserve what you get. And she was like, I told you this. Like, she stopped me in my tracks and made me rethink that. And she's like, you're advocating that people should be victimized. And I was like, I am not. And she goes, how can you call yourself a feminist when you should be able to express your sexuality however you want? And she said, Mom, how different is it from some guy like looking in your window seeing you have sex?
To me, it's an issue of privacy. It's an issue of privacy. Do I think you're stupid for in this day and age putting something in the internet or in the cloud or whatever that you think isn't going to get out there? Okay, you are a little stupid for that. Right. However, you have every right to take pictures of yourself and send them to the person that you like, or even to someone you hate, because that's who would get my photos. Like, here you go.
I'm going to punish everyone.
Right, but but it's your business to do that, and it's not my business to look in. So I get it, but I do think, like, once again, it's like, oh, really? You're upset because someone called you a baby, Leonardo DiCaprio, on the thing? And I don't know that he's upset.
I called you a Siamese cat.
But we're upset because somebody said that about him, and that could damage his career. But we're not upset about
Jennifer Lawrence. Like, they were laughing about how Jennifer Lawrence got less money on the back end than anybody else in the Silver Linings Playbook. Really?
Right.
Okay.
Or it's like
you're making me crazy
that stuff. It just drives me nuts. I was watching that movie because I don't like the genre. I'm sure I was a little more fired up.
Political statement.
Yes, I had to make a political statement.
Double D couldn't control herself.
I'm not.
This has been Double D's political corner.
I'm not saying that I don't think that it's funny that they dress up like white girls and made the stereotype. Please, by all means, come and make fun of me personally. I don't have a problem with that. In fact, I did grow up with some of that. Not all of the kids that I grew up with that had that kind of money acted like that. But a huge chunk of them did. So, okay, do your thing.
It's like, when will we be able to have a moment in time where people go, this is a movie.
But why is it okay? Why is it okay for, like, in our world, right? We work with a lot of Hispanic and Black and whatever, all over. This is New York, where we're definitely the minority here. Okay, so why is it okay for them to say stuff like, "Okay, Brittany," to you or I, right, or whatever they're Kimberly or whatever they're going to call us?
Has anybody ever said that to you? Bye, Felicia.
Well, that is stupid, and most people don't know what that even comes from. And that really pisses me off too. But no, I've had. And it's always been joking, and you're like, okay, Kimberly, okay, Heather, or whatever. But can I turn around and say, okay, Shaniqua? Can you imagine if I did that?
Wait a second.
Not that I haven't.
Uncle Robbie. I was gonna say, first of all, I think I've heard you say that. But Uncle Robbie, do you remember that exchange that made me fall out of my chair? What did she say to
someone?
Who I love.
Right.
I'm not going to mention her name.
No,
she has a YouTube channel.
A beautiful black
woman.
Oh God, she's beautiful.
Holy
called
Christ.
An Italian guy on our set, Meatball.
Well, no.
And he called her colored.
Yes. No, he goes, he said it first. He said something about her being colored.
No, it was.
She goes, "Fuck you, Meatball."
Yeah, you're right.
Genius.
Right. It was, and that was loving, and they love each other, and they joke about it. And that could I
go around?
If she called me Heather or Kimberly, I would laugh and be like, "Okay, Shaniqua, we could have that exchange."
Right.
But if somebody else said to me, and I mean, how I have heard people.
I've seen her get upset though about racial stuff when it's not been in a loving manner.
Right. Right, but I have seen in the city, I've heard it, it's been directed at me before, it's been, I've seen it just around where you'll see like, okay, white girl, and I'm like, wait a second.
Well, I don't think that's okay.
Wait a second, that's like, if I turned around and said, okay, black girl, I'd get punched in the fucking face, and I would deserve it.
That's not what you'd say. Well, no, I've never heard you use that word, but you know what I'm talking about.
No, but I would never say that. I have never used that word. But I would never look at someone.
Okay, Mark Furman, you've never said that word?
No. Not.
I have on this show.
Yeah, but no, I don't mean the words never come out of my mouth, but I've never called somebody that. Never. But if somebody turned around and said to me, okay, white girl, aside from the fact that I would laugh because I'd be like, oh, well, all right, that's like saying, yes, I am white. Thanks a lot. I don't know what the hell that means.
Right.
But if I turned around and
Obvious.
Yeah, like Captain Obvious, thanks a lot. If I turned around and said, "Okay, black girl," I would be just like if you said, "Okay, Kimberly," to me. I find that offensive. I don't want to be Kimberly. To me, that's rich, white, snobby girl, right?
Right.
So if I said, "Okay, Shaniqua," can you imagine? Can you imagine? I even our girlfriend, if I said that to her, I think she would laugh at me, but only if we had been having an exchange. Right. If I said it randomly, I think she'd be like, I'm sorry, what?
I feel like I owe Michelle Obama an apology when I mistakenly called her HOTUS.
No, that was funny. I'm just saying,
you're bringing up a lot of shit today. That
there's
I
a
don't
slippery.
Have any answers.
I'm not asking for an answer.
We don't have a call-in portion of the show yet.
This isn't asking for answers. It's bringing it up of like.
Jesus, I don't know.
I'd like to know what the two Wayans brothers, if we had them here. So this is your invitation to our show. If we had them here and I said, would you not find it offensive, or do you not think there would be a backlash? Yeah, I think we should.
How about if we
I think that if we sat them down and asked them genuinely, do you think that if I had this idea for a movie and made two white guys dressed like two black girls, do you think it would have done A as well? And B, would you find it offensive?
Have they done that? I've seen black guys play black girls.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Tyler Perry and what's his face?
About Smexy Tyler Perry.
And what's his face? Martin Lawrence. The two of them, I've seen them dress up as fat women all the time.
Shut up. Don't put Martin Lawrence in with Tyler Perry because mommy loves some Tyler Perry.
No, I like them both. They're both crazy.
No, Tyler Perry's not.
I think he's a little crazy, but in a good way. I like him.
Yeah. He went and had a baby with someone else. Didn't even ask me.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying I think it would be interesting to hear what they had to say about it. And I do think you're right. I do think it has to do with power.
Let's tweet them and ask them.
I do think it has to do with power.
And say, would you listen to the show from this point to this point? We talk about white girls.
And P.S. Schwarzenegro was hilarious. Funny comment. Got it.
No, my favorite part of that
Nailed
is when
it.
they're in the car and the car drives on the road, the dog gets thrown all over and his face.
Oh,
yeah.
I liked when they danced when they're like, oh, okay, you guys are doing this dance, and they're like, we're gonna kick it old school. That made me laugh.
Okay.
I'm just saying,
Let's send them the show.
Because I'm a big fan of that kind of genre. In my mind, what I was thinking the whole time was, how the hell did they get away with dressing like two white girls and being so stereotypical? I mean, not even... Well, I mean, so stereotypical.
But I think that was part of the movie.
I do too. I do too. I think that, and that part makes me laugh. Also, the part in the dressing room where she was like, "Okay, Tina, Tommy," and like Sally. I was like, "Oh my god, this makes me really uncomfortable." But I think that I've done that in the mirror before, where I'm like, "Look, my belly's talking," or what. That made me laugh.
Okay, so listen, we'll send them the show. We'll tweet it and say, "Would you please listen to this?" Because there's this conversation you just need to be part of. Love to get your opinion. You can even email us.
It's not a defense.
Here on the show. If you want to send us a video, you can.
It's not even a defending thing because I'm not asking for them to defend. It's
no. I just
because I'm not accusing. Yeah, I'm not accusing. I'm just saying that how the hell. I don't think if the situation was reversed, it would even get made.
Let's open it up to the audience.
I think they'd be like, "Oh, Sony execs, cut it right off." That'd be the end of it.
So we'll send it to the Wayans brothers, and then we'll open it up for our audience also. So if you have some sort of, I don't know, some insight that neither of us do. Which is probably do. All of you, probably. You can email us at takeit2@gmail.com. You can tweet us at takeit2 on Twitter. Go to our Facebook, but that's Take It to Two.
The number 2.
You spell it out.
TAKEITTO, the number 2.
There we go. Okay. And so, you guys, that's been our show for today. Thank you for joining us.
I'll get off my soapbox now.
Jesus. Where
I'm sorry.
Where did that come from?
I've been thinking about it all week. I've been thinking about it all week because I really kept thinking. I kept thinking.
You really need to smoke dope, I think.
I would love to.
I was heard about marijuana-induced psychosis, and I'm not
that could be you.
No, I'd like to have Jack Daniels-induced psychosis. Okay, that's been it for our show, and Merry Christmas. I think this is our...
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas.
Merry Kwanzaa.
Merry Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa. Merry Kwanzaa.
I don't know.
You're such a racist.
I know. Yeah. Yikes.